Alan Easley Knowlton. I'd just like to thank you for putting in the markings for Victoria for the cycle and path, but I just have a couple of requests. One is that you consider what to do between Maple and Lakeside when you go along that stretch. Because of the parking, I understand there's a problem, but it would be useful if there were at least some markings there to indicate what was going to happen. The other is, can you consider doing the same on Centre Street? Because I'm still concerned as you cycle along Centre Street up to Bonneville, you suddenly lose that ability. You have to cross from the left-hand side over to the right-hand side to get around up to Bonneville. It's quite dangerous there because it suddenly narrows where the bridge is. I've mentioned this before, I'm just asking you to consider it. You don't necessarily have to answer it now. And the other point is that as a regular cyclist, the grit, the abrasive d'hiver is still on the road, especially where now the cycle path is going to be on both sides. It's not apparent if you drive a car, but I can assure you when you're cycling along, there's a lot of grit on the sides. So if you could think about getting that cleared, that would be really good for cyclists like me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonjour, France Bétourné. Moi, j'habite sur le golfe Inverness. Quand M. Lafontaine était propriétaire, il tondait la pelouse minimum 2 fois par année. Maintenant que c'est M. Pettis qui a acheté, il ne tonde plus la pelouse. J'aimerais savoir s'il y a l'obligation de le faire ou pas.
Je présume oui, mais sérieusement, c'est pas avec l'ordre du jour.
Non, je le sais, mais j'ai pas eu le temps.
Je vais répondre, madame. Je pense que M. Luc Turneau a déjà fait le premier coup, non?
Juste du côté de l'air, en avant.
Sur
Du côté ouest.
Alors, tout le Stonehaven.
Il ne court plus du côté ouest.
Ouais.
Papineau, il n'a pas fait?
Non.
C'est ça, c'est ça.
Peut-être lui rappeler.
On va vérifier ça.
Parfait.
Puis si elle fait ça avant, juste pour courtoise, ou est-ce qu'il est obligé de faire, il va faire des vérifications de sémantique?
Oui, parce qu'il y a même des coyotes là, qui viennent beaucoup plus près de la maison, ça l'amène des animaux. C'est pas agréable.
Okay.
Merci.
Yeah. Benoit Bourgon, 60 Stonehaven, on the same issue, just to follow up shortly, because you said we have to discuss l'ordre du jour only. There was an article recently that there's two persons who died from the Lyme disease in this district, I think in Cowansville or Beaumont. And the field as it is, because the grass is not cut, attracts ticks, and it's very bad for the environment. That being said, I have to be careful because my former boss is in the audience. I have a problem with the process that took place and that takes place often here, in that it is my personal view that the council meeting is an occasion for the citizens to express their opinion, mostly during the first period question, and you'll understand why, on the resolutions or bylaws that are going to be adopted at that meeting. But in order to do so, the citizens needs to have in advance copy of the resolution or copy of the bylaw. And this is not done here. And I expressed that concern before. For example, there was a resolution regarding les PIIA. We don't have the text of the resolution. So those who may want to attend this meeting and express their views during the first period question are unable to do so because they don't know what you're going to talk about. I would strongly suggest that the resolutions, the bylaw, are being posted on the website in advance so that the citizens know what you're going to talk about. I know that the process is already done. Les jeux sont faits. You have decided en caucus to vote on all the resolution, but maybe je suis trop optimiste. I would believe that if you hear some citizens' concern regarding a proposition you intend to adopt, you may change your mind. And that's the purpose, I would suggest, to be more transparent. And for example, Mayor Burkham, I would have expected that if your decision not to discuss the famous issue that brought a lot of people tonight was taken days ago, it should have been posted on your website so that people would not come for nothing. That's all I had to say.
I'll answer that because the person that incited everybody to come had made certain errors, and then he himself pulled his post off, I believe. But I mean, the damage was done. If he wanted to, I think you should address that to the person that asked everybody to come in big numbers, because he was the one that, and we're expecting a lot of people are not.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already told that I would prepare something before to advise the people that we couldn't give out any information. It was in the process, and so we did that.
But nothing prevented you to post your position on the website with the notice, l'ordre du jour. Be aware that this issue will not be discussed for these reasons. And a lot of people would not have spent their time here for nothing.
Well, I'm sorry, but we'll do that the next time. It's a good idea.
Bonsoir, Alicia Southall de Norton. Ma question, Monsieur le maire, porte sur le 4.8.1, la résolution concernant le processus de modification du plan d'urbanisme qui est relié aussi au 4.8.2, le contrôle intérimaire. Vous avez montré tantôt une carte, OK? Vous mentionnez le centre-ville de Norton, là, c'est une expression que je trouve toujours un peu bizarre. Mais si on pourrait revenir à cette carte, parce que j'ai une question qui porte là-dessus. Est-ce que cette carte comprend les bâtiments qui ont été, en fait, le bâtiment qui a été construit par United et aussi les bâtiments jaunes à côté qui sont à côté de la SAQ? Est-ce que ça figure là-dedans?
Oui.
Okay. So and I don't have the civic number of those properties, obviously, but the construction project, which was, I believe, approved for several buildings. It was up to 10, I believe, that were the property of United Construction. I believe they still are. There's only one building built. It's the large brown one in front of the IGA, and then there's smaller buildings that are sandwiched between that brown building and the SAQ. So you're saying that this interim control resolution applies to that. Can you tell us what effect that has specifically on those two projects?
So if you speak to the United buildings themselves, there was a projet intégré of 3 buildings that was authorized by the council.
Right.
The first one's done. As you may recall, at one of the past council meetings, we removed the authorization for the 2 others because the person had not respected the conditions set forth by the période. So those other 2 buildings, even if there was not a contrôle intérimaire, would not at present day be able to be built at the old site of the IGA.
Yes, but we wouldn't necessarily have known that if in between times, for instance, it had been sold or there was some other owner. You're saying it still belongs to United, and there will be no additional construction on that for the moment. That's what you're saying.
Correct. So
okay.
even if the lot was sold, as for example, there would be no new construction, and the 2 buildings that had originally been authorized could not be built because they are no longer authorized.
Okay, so there will be no further construction in that area.
Until the contrôle intérimaire is lifted.
Okay, and how long does the contrôle intérimaire last?
Until the urban plan is adopted.
And when,
Or if the council decides to lift it before.
and when are you planning to propose the urban plan? Is that before or after the election?
Oh, no.
After the election. Okay, and those yellow properties, but there were signs indicating they were for sale. Now there seems to be a little sign saying, you know, there's a small number you can call to rent. Who do those belong to at present? Are those condos that are still for sale?
I don't know who they belong to. I mean, we don't check who owns, or whatever. It's only because we know United because of the problem, that's it.
Okay.
But, yes, they were up for sale, then there was valuation thing. So,
And in terms of the unpaid property taxes, I know that becomes a matter of public record because I've seen them listed before on the town website. In the past, I believe it was in April, if memory serves me, there were all the properties that United owned in that development across from the IGA. None of the taxes had been paid. Are they paid currently or are they still on your list?
that I'm not aware of unless Mr. Falcaro has any more information.
I believe some of the property taxes have not been paid. Last year, when there was a question of a judicial sale for that property or any other properties, there was nothing to apply because all properties in town were paid up in time to avoid a judicial sale. So now we're on to the next round. But the list that was filed tonight is a general list of anybody who's in arrears of any kind from 3 months to a bit longer. So it's more of a general list that the government makes us file. This is not the same list as approaching a judicial sale. The MRC does a public notice and publishes a list.
All right, thank you very much.
Good evening, Audrey Laferrière, Knowlton. Pardon me, I didn't know the rules regarding the process and having to ask questions about things in the procès verbal. In fact, I was curious to know what measures were proposed to the MTQ, and is it possible to receive an update on the security measures being implemented or asked of on Chemin Knowlton, including the school area?
Well, we passed a resolution at the last meeting requesting the MTQ to make certain measures, do a study from outside, coming into Knowlton that way, and coming in from the other way, and specify in the school zone of St. Edouard the problematic that exists, and to do a study and as quick as possible, and to come back to us with it for the moment.
Do you know the timeline proposed by, or how long these things take?
Well, I mean, that was last month, for the 2 weeks of occasion. I'm not using that for an excuse. But
Understand.
for the MTQ, I don't know how, but usually, excuse me, usually they confirm the reception of the email, which I probably did, they usually do. And then they get back to us through the Director General. And then how do you say, the steps are in motion and everything is to see how long it takes to do it, a time frame. It's not the same as municipal, that's for sure.
And as a citizen, what's the best way to know what's happening or keep up to date with le déroulement du processus?
Well, yes, we certainly will inform you. I mean, if there is something, you were here at the last council meeting.
I was, yes.
Yeah, you asked a question that you did. So it's noted, and leave your information with, are you like a spokesperson for the group?
I'm part of the Conseil d'établissement of the school, so I'm not an official spokesperson. Yes, at l'École Saint-Edouard.
Okay, good. So then,
we want to get in touch with you. We are going to give some additional details. We had a special new committee suggestion on that special that we passed the last time concerning l'École Saint-Edouard. We checked some data in terms of traffic. The special installations that are in Bolton S, in Bolton South, I would get mixed up. We looked at those. The traffic in front of the school is double the amount at Bolton South. So we want to talk to both schools to identify what we would like to request. There's a few things we have to specify even more because the problematic of both schools are a bit different. we want to put papa signs on both sides, as other people have requested. So there's already certain things that we have addressed. We looked at how we could protect more school zones, but we'd like to send those communications to the MTQ in the coming weeks. But prior to doing that, we want to talk to both Conseil of both schools.
Okay, great. And then lastly, I understand these are measures asked of the MTQ, but I think there are things that the town can put in place, like that we discussed at the last town council meeting. So I was just wondering if you passed a vote or if any measures will be put in place from the town and not just the MTQ.
We're going to finish our analysis. We're looking at the question of brigadier also.
Exactly.
But see, the brigadier, sometimes there's not that many kids passing in certain zones. We really want to have a global view before we say what we're going to push on.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you. It has to do two jobs at this time. He brings on the committee also, and he's replacing his colleague as Director General. So, but we did do a meeting on that last week, and we'll get back to you hopefully before school starts, and we'll see about the brigade. It's still a question mark.
Merci beaucoup.
Anyway, for certain, the speed in front of École Saint-Edouard is problematic. That is for sure. That is the main problem there in that area, for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Peter Osterman, on Victoria here in Knowlton. Concerning the new markage on Victoria, so it was done once. It's been done a second time. So the old one has been erased. I took a tape measure this evening. We've got a bike, or you have a bike lane 5 feet on one side, 3 feet on the other side. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm wondering whether you really have a plan of a proper plan to mark the road and put in the bicycle lane. I'm totally for a bike lane. Second problem is that if you put a bike lane from one side, currently, to a bike lane on each side, then there's no parking on Victoria. Correct?
There isn't now.
There is now. It doesn't say no parking, but we can park on one side. All the guys with their trucks and trailers park on one side of the road. They don't park in the bicycle lane. So people try and respect not parking in a bicycle lane. So if you put a bicycle lane on both sides of the road, no one has parking. So I don't know where you live.
Well, yes. Whereabouts do you live, sir?
Right opposite the hotel, the Lakeview.
In front of the Lakeview.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, when they park in the road there right now, they're obstructing traffic, right?
For, let's say, actually, very few people park on the street. I park on the street sometimes when I have to move my cars around, because I have only one driveway and I have two cars and so forth. So I have to put one car on the street and then whatever. Putting a car onto a bike lane is a much more serious offense.
Yes, it's an infraction, just
Yes.
like it is obstruction of traffic.
Yeah, but from a police point of view, it's less tolerated than just parking. Temporarily parking on the road. We're also, for the cyclists, because I see them go by my house, continuously. It seems that having a bike lane, in my opinion, having a double bike lane as it currently exists, is better than having two bike lanes.
Well, personally, I find that what you just said is more dangerous, having the bicycles in both. When they come down through, you're not expecting to see a bicycle, and there's no stop sign, example, at Lansdowne for the bicycle. So they're coming straight through. The car is coming out of Lansdowne, which creates a problem. At Benoit is the same thing, except there is a stop sign in both directions.
They don't stop.
Oh, yeah, well, that's for the
That's their
police
problem,
to
huh?
manage.
But, you know, in
I know,
past,
I
in past
understand
years,
that, but-
there were cones, there were markers on the, you know, big high,
I know, but
markers on the road,
in-
right?
In summary, that is the way the road is supposed to be with bike lanes on both sides. You're supposed to bike, really, when I bike down Victoria right now, go on the other lane, people will holler at me, some young guy, say, go in the bike lane. No, you're not supposed to bike with traffic. So I do. I'm not gonna go on the lane where there's, and then you have to pull out because there's other bikes coming. So I'm always biking with the traffic, even though it's not marked right now like that. That's what I do.
Because, you know, the other problem becomes, as you approach, Lakeside, there's, I mean, the town is missing a bunch of parking. So,
I understand.
so if you put a bike lane there, you're effectively cutting off, all that parking
Yeah.
on that side of the road, huh? So, I'm just wondering whether the town is, you know, like most towns, the commerce in the town are always complaining that there's never parking. So if we're gonna put a bike lane on that part of the road, you know, then we're cutting off, potentially 8 to 10 parking spots.
Well, in Sutton, they cut out, I think it was 22 parking spaces just to put a stop sign in both directions at the corner of Maple and Main Street.
Yeah, mhm. I know.
So either way, something has to be done, and town, and like Sutton decided to eliminate all those parking spaces for the commerce, and people were complaining about that, so
Mhm.
it's a hard situation, but I mean, we
Yeah.
have to come up with the best solution, and right now, the best solution is to have a bike lane like every other town on both sides of the road, which for safety is the best thing. For parking, it's gonna be a problem, but we still have to do what's safe for the people.
So, version 1, version 2 that's already been marked, is there gonna be a version 3? Because, you know, the guy has marked the road already, that was eliminated, then he's remarked the road. Yeah, yeah, today he came out and blacked out the original markings, and he put in new markings. So I'm wondering whether there is a plan that's precise.
There is a precise plan that's made
Well,
by.
then why was the first markings done?
No, please let them answer.
Okay,
There is a plan that is an engineering plan, and these guys, they come to mark the lines. Between the engineer and the guy that's marking, that's why we ask them to do a pre-marking, so that we can go and measure and tell them, this place is not okay, this is not working, they didn't follow the right path. So we have somebody that's actually doing this with the contractor to make sure that everything is gonna be swell when we do it.
okay.
Bonjour, Chantal Roy, Knowlton. Moi, je trouve que c'est une excellente solution d'avoir la piste cyclable dans le sens du trafic des deux côtés. Je vous remercie de le faire. J'espère juste que si vous mettez des poteaux, vous allez les mettre sur la ligne et non pas à l'intérieur de la piste cyclable, comme c'était le cas dans les pistes. Et effectivement, de le faire sur la rue Centre, ça serait excellent de l'avoir des deux côtés parce qu'en ce moment, elle est extrêmement dangereuse, elle est trop étroite, la piste, il y a des poteaux dans le je voulais également, c'est la première fois que je viens à une réunion du Conseil, je pense, depuis votre élection, M. Burcombe. Je laisse ça à mon mari d'habitude. Je suis extrêmement surprise de voir le déroulement des réunions. J'ai l'impression que c'est comme si on faisait au public un compte-rendu d'une réunion qui a eu lieu avant, mais que les décisions ont toutes été prises. Je n'ai pas entendu une seule fois, peut-être une ou deux fois, de demander est-ce que tout le monde est d'accord. On ne demande jamais le vote. C'est comme il y a un proposeur, un secondeur, puis on dirait qu'il y a deux personnes qui ont voté la résolution, puis c'est comme ça. Je ne sais pas, est-ce que ça se passe comme ça dans toutes les municipalités? Est-ce que c'est même légal qu'il n'y ait pas de vote à la réunion publique du Conseil? Je suis surprise.
Dans la plupart de mes confrères à l'MRC, oui, le déroulement, c'est comme ça. Si quelqu'un dans le Conseil veut, les élus, veut exprimer par le voix comme quoi non, je ne suis pas d'accord, après ça, un vote est demandé.
Ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'il se dépêche, qu'il lève la main avant que M. Patterson ait résumé la décision. Donc, nous avons décidé que... OK. C'est beau. C'est un peu ennuyant, puis... mais bon.
Vous savez,
Voilà. Si c'est légal, tant mieux.
Votre mairie a déjà exprimé la même chose. C'est correct, c'est correct. Donc, le prochain conseil peut changer ça.
Ça serait bien, oui.
Ça serait à leur décision.
Je trouve pas ça très, très démocratique, personnellement.
OK.
Merci.
Merci.
You're taking my time.
C'est vrai que souvent, des fois, on prend une décision d'avance, mais ça arrive aussi que la décision d'avance, c'est pas la même décision de la président. Et c'est arrivé la semaine dernière, on n'était pas tous d'accord sur une résolution. Et ce soir, les gens ont changé d'opinion et se sont alliés. La résolution a été changée. Et il y a quand même une discussion, vous voyez, du mouvement de la résolution. Alors, ça n'arrive pas toujours, mais ça arrive assez régulièrement.
Mayor Burkham, how much time do I have left?
You got 3 minutes.
On
And
your-
boss is here.
On your, my former boss, on your 30 minutes, but I think the 30 minutes is something that should be extended sometimes. I wish, just for my personal intent, express my views. A lot of people did not follow your ruling on addressing only the agenda. On the issue that nobody wants to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the merit. I'm going to express my views because I understand la sensibilité ou l'aspect vraiment le dos troublant dans lequel l'administration se trouve. Je comprends que la personne qui aurait violé le règlement, c'est une personne qui est très fortunée. Sa famille aurait prêter de l'argent ou donner de l'argent à beaucoup d'entreprises charitables dans la ville et on les remercie, ce qui rend votre position encore plus difficile, d'après moi. Mais ce qui fait en sorte que la transparence doit être encore plus grande. You don't want to comment on the facts. Are you going to commit yourself on revealing the facts known to the city and revealing the facts that the other party will provide you? What I'm afraid of, and I've seen it happen in this town again and again, is that if the city decides in its wisdom not to take any proceedings or pursue this matter further, for whatever reason, it's up to you, it's your discretion, that the case will be closed, and the citizens that are very concerned that we're here will never know the truth. So are you going to commit yourself, the administration now in place, to reveal all the facts that are known to you now or that will be known to you in the future, and the position of the person or party that violated the bylaw?
When all the facts are accumulated, as you know, I'm not going to go step by step. Every week say, oh, we found something or this or that. When we have the dossier is fully evaluated and we have all the facts, like I said in my opening thing, it will be a communication to the public.
Now, finally, with all due respect, I don't agree with your position of criminal intent. I'm not an attorney that is specialized in criminal law, but I do remember that there are some infractions to the criminal code that don't need criminal intent. Des infractions strictes, de responsabilité stricte. For example, you're well aware of that. If you have your cell phone, there's no criminal intent. It's an infraction right away. So you cannot say.
It's a highway code infraction.
You have your cell code. Yeah. So
in the highway code, to hold a cell phone in your hand is a highway code infraction. Doesn't mean you're talking on it. Doesn't mean you're texting. So that's totally different.
But the issue here, as a matter of transparency, and because of the concern of this population, I mean, I've never seen so many people here.
Oh, yes, it was at our first meeting after we elected in 2013.
Okay. La meilleure chose-
even took the stand for-
La meilleure chose à faire ne serait-ce pas d'obtenir une opinion indépendante d'un avocat spécialiste en affaires criminelles et pénales pour voir si effectivement l'infraction qui a eu lieu mérite d'être dénoncée aux autorités. Parce que les autorités, les infractions qui peuvent avoir eu lieu peuvent donner lieu à un recours devant la Cour municipale ou un recours devant la Cour du Québec, division pénale et criminelle. Mais ce n'est pas à moi et ce n'est pas à vous, avec tout le respect que je vous dois, de décider si oui ou non c'est une situation qui mérite une enquête par les autorités policières. Je pense que c'est un avocat qui est spécialisé dans la chose qui doit vous donner cette opinion-là.
I think the Certificate Act has more to do with everything going on in this town with speeding and everything, that a dossier that they would never treat.
I'm not talking about la Sûreté du... I did not mention la Sûreté du Québec. I mentioned that I think you should ask an attorney specialized in criminal and penal question whether this infraction mérite d'être porté devant les autorités policières ou devant le procureur général pour que des procédures soient prises.
In the coming weeks, Mr. Bourgon, everything will be evaluated. But as far as is concerned right now, it's civil and it's going to remain civil.
But is your answer that you don't intend to submit that to an attorney to get an opinion?
Not at all. If we have already talked to our attorneys, I'm not aware of it. But
You talked to a criminal and penal attorney?
I'm saying we have our attorney, and
I know your attorney very well, but your
Mr.
attorney,
Bourgon,
your
I'm
attorney is
gonna-
not specialized in criminal law or penal law.
You go on too long, first of all, and there's nothing there to do, so we will not. Alors, levez la séance.